Now, this is all speculation, but paper to paper, the 701 Enduro is a pretty close call to the DRZ4S, and you might be wondering which is better, the DRZ4S or the 701 Enduro. And sure, there is a whole bunch of other bikes out there that can relate or suit your needs, but I have quite a bit of experience on average trail riding with the 701 Enduro. I even taken it on tighter single track. It's not super hard or anything, but it's tight enough to start feeling the weight of the machine. And I mentioned single track more because that is actually when you start feeling the weight of the machine.
I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, this single track is very popular with dirt bikers. But I tell you what, look, the KLX 250 and 701 Enduro handles this tight single track. I know in camera it's gonna look very easy, but it's tight. But we're about at the end of the single track and totally capable. It's not hard single track, it's tiring. It's a tiring single track.
And you might be wondering which is better, the DRZ4S or the 701 Enduro. And sure, there is a whole bunch of other bikes out there that can relate or suit your needs, but I have quite a bit of experience on average trail riding with the 701 Enduro. I even taken it on tighter single track. It's not super hard or anything, but it's tight enough to start feeling the weight of the machine. And I mentioned single track more because that is actually when you start feeling the weight of the machine. And then, of course, I also took the DRZ400 on single track. And the DRZ400 was a huge difference versus the 701 Enduro on the tighter or even technical stuff. After giving it some thought in comparison to the other dirt bikes I have test ridden, in terms of dual sports though, weight is not really everything, and sometimes it's not even felt. Of course, if you drop it, it's a whole different story. But perfect example of the similar situation on what I'm trying to demonstrate. The WR250R felt way better and more nimble versus the KLX 250 and even the DRZ400E on tighter single track. On paper, they are a close call to same weight, or even the CRF 450RL versus the DRZ400, where to me the CRF 450RL felt more like an enduro bike versus the DRZ400. I mean, both were great, felt like some good woods bike compared to the 701 Enduro. To be honest, I would have loved to see the DRZ4S, the WR250R weight, and of course, what we all want, the 6-speed. To me, I would like to see it with a lot less electronics, especially if I'm more towards the trail riding side. Just as simple as these quote-unquote modern technology bikes, but yet simple, like the WR250R, the CRF300, or the KLX 250-300. Anyways, that is why I am saying, and of course, it's all speculation since I have not ridden it yet, but I do believe the DRZ4S might be better than the 701 Enduro due to its centralized mass, the KYB suspensions. As many 701 Enduro rider agrees, the gas tank in the rear does make the bike feel heavier on the tighter stuff, where you have to tip the bike a bit more over. It's hard to explain until you take it on single track and you're gonna have to maneuver it a bit more. And if you look at Suzuki's site, they are tailoring the DRZ4S and advertising it for tight single track as well. But one thing I overlooked was the diagram of the DRZ4S. Everything in yellow is a complete overhaul, and actually right here you are seeing the transmission gears in yellow, which means there are some changes. So I'm wondering if they addressed the shorter gear ratios for 4th and 5th gear. I'm not a mechanic, so I don't 100% know what the positioning of these gears. I know there are many reviews with the ACT wide gear ratios for the older DRZ400, and now they can drop their bike, say, to a 1448 sprocket, where before the ACT gears they were high revving at 65 miles per hour at 5th gear, and then after the ACT gears they were cruising at 75, yet still able to have that low end. In this case, it might not be a bad thing, but we will not know until the gear ratio numbers, of course, come out. So 5th gear might not be a horrible thing if they made it a lot longer. But overall, I'm starting to think the DRZ4S might be a better choice than the 701 Enduro for most riders out there who want to explore, I would say, more unknown single track with pavement in the mix, but a little bit more geared towards aggressive solo trail riding and such. And the reason most people flocked to the 701 Enduro is they want the best of both worlds. A lot of us live in states where there are a whole bunch of trails with all sorts of difficulties. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. And then you have, of course, that dreaded highway ride back. And to me, some days I want the DRZ400 for this trail, and then some days I want the 701 Enduro until, hey, I'm back on single track again. In my honest opinion, the 701 Enduro was geared for ATV riders looking for more for fire roads and aggressive fire roads and mining roads and aggressive trail riding, while the DRZ4S might be geared for an all in between with the true emphasis on trail riding, but yet that weight of the DRZ4S might make it very comfortable and very stable at highway speeds of 70-75 miles per hour. And Suzuki does know this. They know people want to go 70, 75, 80 miles per hour on the highways and then be able to, hey, check out this trail, let's go explore it. Anyways, it's all speculation. We won't know until the bike finally comes out. I'm really eyeing the DRZ4S because I love the DRZ400, especially now that it is quote-unquote somewhat in a modern form. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. If anyone prefers the DRZ400 or maybe the 701 or maybe the DRZ4S is just a waste of time from Suzuki.